Hi there. So I decided it would be good timing as we start school and go into fall if I recorded a video for everyone on what to do if you're exposed to a rhinovirus, a cold virus, if you come down with it, or if you're exposed to the flu virus. And I'll just do about 10-15 minutes discussing it. Please call if you're not a patient and you'd like to become one, or if you're a current patient and you're feeling sick, obviously, please call me or come in. So for starters, I really like vitamin C. It's just our natural, one of the natural antioxidants. We can get this from food in different colored foods, things like peppers and blueberries and all different berries, really. Things that grow from the ground that are bright in color, grapes, um, and of course citrus fruit as well. But it's hard to get enough vitamin C in a concentrated amount when you actually already have the flu or a cold virus. So I recommend people pick a vitamin C that is not corn-based. It's either whole food, acerola cherry is a good example, or tapioca-based, just because a lot of the corn-based vitamin C is sprayed or GMO'd. So if it doesn't say on it, it just says vitamin C, or ascorbic acid is the same thing, it's probably corn-based because they're trying to save money. So check out your vitamin C. If you need a recommendation for one, let me know. I like all different brands, but yeah, whole food ones. There's powders versus capsules. Sometimes it tastes a little bitter, but sometimes people like it, that tart taste. And so sometimes a powder will work a little faster than a capsule will, because you don't have to break down the capsule. So what is the dose? Well, it depends on how much your bowel can tolerate. Some people can take 4 grams or 4,000 milligrams 3 times a day. Other people have to start with 1,000 milligrams 3 times a day. The goal is, can you get it in 3 times a day? And don't take it at bedtime because it can give you energy. So that third dose should really be before dinner, early enough that you can go to sleep. Definitely focus on sleep. If you're having issues sleeping, we can talk. But use things like yoga nidra to rest during the day if you feel like you're coming down with something, because the immune system is going to function much better if you are getting enough rest or if you're not stressed. Next, I love elderberry. And you can get local elderberry. You can make it yourself to save some money. You can get local honey to use. I don't love the capsules. I never know, like, when was this dried and ground up? Was this last year's elderberry or was it current? So talk to a local herbalist or let me know if you can't find it. A lot of times, Weaver Street or the Durham Co-op or Harmony Farms, those are great places to find local elderberry. I also love mushrooms for the immune system. So if you're doing the elderberry and you're trying to use it every 3-4 hours, a tablespoon for adults, teaspoon for kids. If you're doing the vitamin C, but you feel like that's not enough, the mushroom compounds can be great. There's some, like Metagenics has one called Immucor that's 8 different mushrooms all in one tablet. It also has some vitamins in it and selenium, vitamin A, but you can also get mushrooms that are powdered that you can just add some water to and drink. It's important to find a good mushroom supplier. The brand does matter because these things that are grown in the ground and then concentrated, you don't want to take in heavy metals. So ask around if you're not sure of what a good mushroom compound would be. Something like turkey tail or cordyceps would help. The Metagenics has quite a few additional mushrooms. Then I recommend people put a towel over their head and try a steam either over a mug or a bowl that's got hot water. You can add some saline or salt to the hot water, some sea salt. So you're breathing in some steam that's going to loosen everything, especially if you're congested. That's a really easy thing to do. You can also add thyme to the hot water, just thyme like that you cook with. It's a natural mucinex, so it thins out the mucus and gets rid of it. Next, I also love the neti pot for just getting rid of the germs. It doesn't matter if you have more of a lower GI issue or lower respiratory. It's really nice to use the neti pot If you don't know what that is, they're available at grocery stores or drugstores. You can get plastic ones, you can get fancy clay ones. You can also just make one yourself using a big spoon or using a syringe. And there are colloidal silver nasal sprays that are great. Sometimes they're a little bit too harsh, too strong, so you can add those to your neti pot, or you can buy a quality colloidal silver and add it to the neti pot. If you have questions about brands, let me know. And yeah, and then zinc, 40 milligrams twice a day helps you absorb the vitamin C. There's different forms of zinc. Some people need a little bit of copper with the zinc, some people don't. So let me know if you have questions about individually for you. Echinacea is also wonderful to boost the immune system so that you can use this 4 times a day. You can use it for 3 to 5 days as an acute remedy. If you've had allergy to echinacea in the past, or you got a rash, then don't use it. But other than that, it's pretty safe. I also think sometimes we are depending on the diet to get all of our vitamins, but when we get sick, we need to use something like a really good multivitamin or something like Juice Plus that's whole foods based. I like Pure Encapsulations has one called ONE. There's enough selenium in there to help your immune system. I also think vitamin D can be crucial to the immune system function. So here in North Carolina, we're not really getting enough of the lower wavelength of sun to make vitamin D. So we need to forget about getting vitamin D from the sun because we're north of Atlanta, basically, and instead take vitamin D if we're low. There's also something called the root cause protocol, in which he recommends not taking vitamin D, but using magnesium to boost vitamin D. That's a little bit of a longer process. So if someone acutely has the flu, I recommend they just take the vitamin D. A vitamin D3 with K2 is the best absorbed. I also like Metagenics for that. And I promise they're not paying me to say this. But when you're sick, 10,000 units of vitamin D with food, because vitamin D is fat soluble. It's really more like a hormone than it is a vitamin, but we don't absorb it on an empty stomach. We need to release bile to absorb it. So you need to take it with lunch or dinner. A lot of people aren't eating enough with breakfast to absorb the vitamin D. Next, I love oils like thieves oil or rosemary in the diffuser, eucalyptus in the diffuser. Thieves oil, if you don't know, or On Guard by doTERRA contain cinnamon, contain clove. They were used long ago to prevent, during the plague, to prevent grave diggers from actually getting the plague. So if something can stop the plague, then it's reliable to help us. And obviously it wasn't like what's it called, the brand, the Young Living brand, but it was a combination of these spices that they used to coat the body so they could steal the jewelry, which is maybe a morbid beginning, but it just shows you that they're in a history of time, people have found spices and herbs that really helped prevent germs and the spread of viruses. I also love apple cider vinegar for thinning out mucus. So you can use some local honey or some cayenne or lemon in some hot water with a little bit of apple cider vinegar. That'll thin everything out. Antiviral, clean it out, it'll make sure you have a good bowel movement to get rid of all the germs. Next, raw ginger and raw garlic are both amazing. Raw garlic can actually kill strep, and you can chew it if you're okay with chewing a clove of garlic. Swallowing a whole clove isn't going to help. You have to break the skin on the outside. So you can nick it and let it sit in some oil and then consume the oil instead, like olive oil. Or you can place it in some hot water, crush it up, place the garlic in some hot water, and then gargle with the hot water. Next, I also like marshmallow or slippery elm. Both of those are herbs that thin out mucus and help you get rid of congestion. So, Mucinex or guaifenesin can help, but it usually has an endpoint. So people say, I've used it for a couple of days and it's not working anymore. Well, that's true, so let's switch to something else. Also, sometimes those things make people dizzy. Remember that drinking a ton of water is going to help. So if you're not drinking a ton of water, but you're trying to use these things, they're not going to work as well. And I just have a couple of things left to mention. One is that golden seal can really help with if you're coughing, if your lungs are irritated. So golden seal, there's a Wish Garden Herbs blend, and I can post that in the comments, that helps with cough. You know, conventionally, we can use codeine to help with cough if people really need a good night's sleep. But a lot of people, especially kids, can't have codeine. So talking about a more natural way to get rid of a cough, try golden seal. And quercetin can really help. It's a natural antioxidant found in broccoli and pineapple, but it's hard to eat enough of those to get enough concentrated quercetin when we're sick. So you can try the foods, and if they're not working, try the quercetin supplement. 200 milligrams at the first sign of a cold. Use it 4 to 5 times a day. So some of these things you're using for 3 or 4 days frequently, and then you taper off how often you take them. And then last thing is, I would say, see if you can distinguish between triggered by allergy versus triggered by virus. And sometimes they look similar, but things like an antihistamine nose spray or nettle tea for histamine response would be great. Start to notice if you're feeling inflamed, or if you start sneezing a lot when you go outside. If you're sneezing a lot, that's often a sign that it was triggered by allergy than it was actually by a virus. And certainly you can have both. So I hope that helps you sort of manage flu season. Let me know if you have questions. And the functionalmedicincenter.org is our website, and I can be reached at kate@thefunctionalmedicincenter.org. Thanks so much.